Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. We are from the group Nitro. So our presentation is about between creative or innovations, which is more effective as an engineer.
First, introduction.
On the introduction part, creative and innovations have different meanings and definitions. It is not easy to differentiate them as they rely on each other and are being easily confused to understand. Generally, for example, we tend to call someone is creative because he or she individually can come up with a new raw idea that can solve one's problem. Meanwhile, to be called innovative, we need to improvise or act on this idea.
What is creativity?
First of all, what is creativity? Creativity basically is resemble a lot about creation. Based on Cambridge Dictionary, creative has been classified in two perspectives, which is from adjective, refers to someone who can produce or use original and unusual ideas to solve problem. On the other hand, creative in noun perspective refers to a person whose job involve producing ideas or doing an artistic work. Besides that, creative also is about the power in utilization of the mind to generate new ideas, product planning, problem solving, common sense, and also sensation of arts. To have a creativity, one must have a stable core of knowledge on the field of their studies or job to easily create a new solutions and also a new idea.
What is innovation?
And for the next one, what is innovation? Innovation is a changing of common process and existing products in order to improvise, to be used efficiently and also effectively. Other than that, innovation also is the process of developing new ideas into something useful and also practical. Moreover, the key point of innovation is the process or products needs to be exist first so that it can be developed in order to innovate. And for the last one, the best to finding ways of making incremental improvement to your products and service is one of the innovations definitions.
What are the characteristics of creative people?
For the first characteristic of creative engineer is inclined to ask questions and curious to know something. This does not necessarily imply that they ask a lot of questions, but it does indicate that they are very interested about topics that interest them. Besides, many creative engineers are aggressive, aiming to persuade or disapprove other opinions. Other than that, it is possible that creative engineers can seem as stubborn person. Stubbornness can make the person become arrogant, but it also gives a person more persistent and resilient when doing works. And then creative people also a highly productive person. Their result and production, on the other hand, is frequently of higher quality because they take the time to approach and solve challenges. Lastly, the creative personalities illustrate outside the box thinking, which is refusing to be restricted in their work and lifestyle.
What are the characteristics of innovation people?
So the first characteristic of an innovative engineer are having courage in doing decision making or anything. Besides, engineers that exhibited innovative behavior reflecting on their actions on a regular basis. By doing continued reflection, the engineers were able to detect new pieces of information that may be potentially essential for the project, much like a radar scanning the surrounding endlessly. And then another factor that influenced innovative people was their willingness to take action. The advantage of being action-oriented people are they can encourage their teams to go from preparing the project, setting to prototyping and doing project as soon as possible. Other than that, innovative engineers were opportunity-focused person where they able to recognize opportunities in a variety of scenarios and share multiple possible project pathways with their teams. And finally, where people who react positively to adversity and do not let challenge overcome them are also more likely to engage in innovative behaviors. People with mental resilience can take in new knowledge in the form of negative feedback, accept it constructively, and continue to work.
The importance of imagination in creativity.
In engineering, visualizing a problem is as important as mastering subjects such as math and science. This is because, since engineering is related to solving newly discovered problems, it involves the capacity to think out of the box in order to produce variety of solutions for the problem. Thus, this is the stage when the imagination kicks in. In a research conducted by Wang Hong and Lee in 2014, the study has proven that imagination is important in line with team communication in generating new ideas.
Creativity misconception.
Creativity misconception is nothing new in engineering. This problem is often due to the lack of understanding of what creativity is and of how it helps to solve problems. Besides, creativity is assumed as a blessing or a trait that you were born with, which considered impossible to be learned. Furthermore, creativity also always associated within art field only in public eye, which consecutively means creativity can only be developed or improved through arts. This stereotype to some extent has come up with the difficulty to adapt creativity to engineering. In order to destroy these misconceptions, we must have a deep understanding about what creativity is.
Can creativity be taught?
So the real question is, can creativity be taught? The short answer for this question is yes. People are all naturally creative and like with other ability, some people are more gifted than others. With sufficient training and deliberate practice, anybody can improve his or her creativity, just as everyone can improve his or her musical athletic abilities. We all learn skills and practices to boost creativity and create circumstances that encourage creativity.
Importance of creativity for engineers.
As the civilization grows rapidly and technologically in this era, engineers will face unprecedented challenges. Engineers need to utilize creativity in order to tackle problems that they never encountered before. Creativity also important in order to continuously develop new ideas. This is important since the technology will keep growing and growing. Thus, creativity is an important attribute for engineers to possess.
Ways to improve creativity and innovative skills.
Next, I will explain about ways to improve creativity and innovative skills. Firstly is associate with creative people. Creative people tend to have the power to see what might be, and associating with them will spark new ideas and ways of looking at things. Talking with a wide range of people from different disciplines, backgrounds, and experience will help us to see things from different perspectives and develop our imagination. Second, believe in our own capability. Our mind is an amazing machine, and our belief system impact on our capabilities to do and learn. Telling ourselves that we are creative and have the capability to generate ideas will ensure that we do not put any psychological barrier in the way of um, generating great ideas. Next is identify our own idea. First, when we need to come up with ideas or solutions, try to avoid going to the creative people we may have tended to rely on in the past. Take time to come up with ideas and solutions of ourselves first. In this way, we will naturally develop our imagination. Lastly is play games, puzzles, or physical sports. Certain games and puzzles can equip us with plenty of opportunity to flex our creative muscle. Games of chess and checkers are both good examples, as well as physical sports such as football, basketball, and tennis, all of which provide creative exercise.
Creative and innovation in land transportation revolution.
Next is creative and innovation in land transportation revolution. The history of transportation is essentially one of the technology creative and innovation. Technology of transportation have enabled humans to travel farther, explore more land, and expand more influence over wider and larger areas. In earlier civilization, humans tend to travel from one place to another by using animals such as horse, donkey, camel, and etc. because it allowing them to carry a larger load to be transported. Then, around 3500 before century, the wheel was invented, and ideally, it was great to serve as potter's wheel. Then people figured out to use it in a transportation. In the 17th and 18th century, many new modes of land transportation were invented, such as bicycles, trains, motorcars, trucks, and trams. In this era, land transport began to be introduced with mechanical parts like as internal combustion engines and even steam engine as a result of the industrial revolution. First car that been built was powered by steam. It was an energy source that had been used for many years to power trains. However, during the First World War, steam engine has been replaced with internal combustion engines because simpler to operate and more reliable. Then investors start to invented and electric cars, which are perceived to be more environmentally friendly and cheaper to maintain and run, despite high initial costs. It's amazing to think about how far cars have come and where technology will go in the future. In the future, this demonstrates that extremely innovative thinking can materialize some things that an engineer could never make.
Creative and innovation in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the result of a process that applies at both creativity and innovation to capitalize on the market opportunities. Entrepreneurship succeeds by thinking and doing the new thing or old thing in new way. Besides that, entrepreneur relies on creativity and innovation to produce the new revenue stream, market disruption, and unique opportunities. A success at entrepreneurship need a focus on creativity, integrating innovation, and strategic business practice. The importance of innovation in entrepreneurship. The importance of innovation in entrepreneurship is shown by the coming up with the new way to produce a product or a solution. A service industry can expand with another type of service to fulfill the ever-changing needs of their clients. Second is innovation in entrepreneurship. It is another key value for the longevity of a business. They saw the need within the community and among themselves that they have come up with a solution. They receive the opportunity to innovate that makes their life more comfortable. Third is competition. It simulates any entrepreneur to come up with something much better than their competition in a lower price and still be cost effective and qualitative. Lastly is adapting well to our needs and create our own solutions. The innovation in entrepreneurship help the country by changing with the time and producing the new and services from ones that already exist.
Conclusion.
So, in the past chapters, we have explained the differences between creative and innovative as an engineer. Through this research paper, to be a successful engineer, one must possess both attributes, which are creative and innovative. It is because both attributes play important role in solving problems in this technology era. Not to mention, creative and innovative engineers are highly demanded in industries. As a conclusion, we conclude that both creative and innovative are equally effective attributes for engineer to have.